And this a good segue because that's going to move us right into Bianca's segment here, which is
Yes.
to show people, give everyone a taste effectively as to how we would recommend addressing the focus area effectively of men's and women's health. So, Bianca, I will turn it over to you and let you take over from here, and then you can get your slides ready
Yeah,
as well.
for
Thank you.
sure. Thanks, Roger. Okay, so hi everyone. And if you haven't met me before, as Roger mentioned, as you've seen in the previous session, my name is Bianca Garcia Celesano, and I am the wellness manager here at Thorpe Benefits. Last year, we reintroduced our wellness service at the symposium. And our wellness service, I know we kind of touched upon it, but it's based on our three wellness pillars, we'd like to call them: education, action, and creating a culture. Now, what does this mean? So we host employee focus areas about 3 times a year, where we put our attention to 3 health and well-being topics. We first educate the HR people leaders like yourselves, and we educate them on the importance of the topic, and we provide them with actionable items to support their employees on that topic. Next, we educate the employees, and this is done through webinars and sessions led by one of our expert speakers. And this would usually kick off our month-long focus area. With providing action items, we have a playbook that I know I mentioned briefly that can be easily followed through, and it provides a bunch of resources and tools to help support that topic focus area. And we'll go through a very brief demo of one at the end of the session. From being involved in our wellness service through the education and the use of our playbooks, we really hope that this would provide a culture of psychological safety in the workplace that is open to have that health and wellness conversation or provide support in one's health and wellness journey. And in the past, our focus areas have been energy, fatigue. We also had financial well-being, which I mentioned earlier. And in June, we'll be hosting another one on men's and women's health. Now, in this session, you'll get a glimpse of what that HR session looked like in April. It was originally broadcasted in early April. So today you'll sit on just a snippet of how that session looked like, so you can be prepared to bring your team along in the next focus area. Now, a reminder that this offer is available for free for our clients and their employees as part of their relationships with us. I like to call it as an all-inclusive service that they could join in, because we know that you guys have a lot on your plate and we do all the logistics and operations for you. So let's get into it. So as I mentioned, we'll look at some of the health challenges between men and women and how organizations can better support them. So I want to start with the big picture, why this topic matters to everyone in the workplace. Both men and women face unique health challenges, but the reality is that many of these issues are still flying under the radar at work, from chronic conditions, mental health, to things like reproductive and stress-related burnout, so things that we also discussed earlier on in the session. And these important needs are often left unaddressed. And when health isn't supported, it doesn't just affect the individual, but it also impacts the whole organization. And we see it. We see it in the reduced productivity, the higher absenteeism, and even in retention rates. People can't bring their best selves to work if they're silently struggling. And we're going to start off strong with women's health. So there was a survey done, and 33% of women say that their benefits plan doesn't meet their needs, compared to only 17% of men who say the exact same thing. It just shows that women are disproportionately under-supported by their benefits, and that the gap is critical for workplace equity. And more than 60% of women feel that the workplace is falling short when it comes to their health. And when you consider everything women navigate, from reproductive health to caregiving responsibilities, it's easy to see why support needs to step up. According to McKinsey Health Institute, women may live longer than men, but they also spend 25% of their lives, more of their lives, in poor health. And I want you to think, why do you think that is? There are a few reasons. One is that some health conditions hit women harder. Second is women's concerns are often brushed off. I mean, how many times have I heard, you're probably just stressed, you need to sleep, you just need water. A lot of our concerns often get dismissed. And another one that we've been hearing a lot is that women are usually taking care of others before themselves. We hear and we know that women are the caregivers. They are looking after their aging parents, their children, or even another family member. So their self-care, they put others before themselves. So yes, women might live longer, but those extra years aren't always healthy ones. And that also shows up at work. Almost 29% of women say that they've taken a sick day for a health issue, but they lied about the reason. 4 in 10 have made career choices, and I said it before. People have been turning down a promotion or stepping back because of health or caregiving responsibilities. And about 60% say things like menstruation, menopause, or reproductive health have affected their career growth. And these are all natural life phases, but they're often left out of the workplace policies and conversations, and that's a huge miss. And what Allison had said before, still over half of women say menopause is still a taboo topic. It's not being discussed about. And on top of that, less than 8% of Canada's health research funding goes to women's health. So it's clear to see that there is a gap, and this conversation needs to happen. And now we're going to go into men's health, just because the focus area is also on men's health. So as you can see here, the cost is clear. Avoiding doctors and downplaying symptoms leads to major losses in productivity and rising healthcare costs. In fact, about 77% of men say that they'd rather do chores or go shopping than see a doctor. That's great, maybe, but it also shows that men are not prioritizing health. And it's not just physical, but also mental. Men make up 75% of suicides in Canada, yet 28% fear that talking about mental health at work could hurt their careers. And this stigma is costing lives and impacting workplaces. We rarely talk about it, but men experience postpartum too. There's shame, there's guilt, and work pressures, which keep them from seeking help. So without support, the consequences are clear. There's lower productivity, there's more absences, and preventable long-term health issues. And the pressure to provide is real. We see that many men still feel the need to be that breadwinner, but we don't talk about how that pressure stops them from seeking help, even when they're struggling. Instead they push through, afraid of being seen as weak at work. But the thing is, ignoring it only makes things worse for them and the organization. And I've seen this as well in my male figures in my life. They put down a health concern. They said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's okay," until it bottles up like that Coke bottle, when you shake it and it just goes boom. So this is something that also needs to be made aware of. And this fear of appearing weak is so ingrained that even when men do seek medical care, 1 in 5 are still not sharing the whole story. It's because vulnerability around health is often seen as a threat to their identity, especially in professional settings where there's strength, endurance, and reliability that are highly valued. But the thing is, if men aren't being fully honest with their doctors, they're less likely to get the accurate diagnosis or early interventions, which means that their health issues can also escalate until they can no longer be ignored. So with all that being said, what can organizations actually do about these challenges? We won't be going into detail with each bullet point that I'll be showing in the next few slides, but all of these suggestions are also in our playbook. And if you'd like a deeper walk through the playbook and these suggestions, you could always feel free to book some time with me, and I'd be happy to sit down and start that conversation with you. So now that we've looked at the challenges women face when it comes to their health at work, the question becomes, what can organizations do about it? And the good news is there is good news, which is great. There are concrete steps that employers can take to better support women's health. So we'll start with workplace policies and support. Women's health goes beyond benefits, and it's about creating a workplace that understands real life needs. So maybe offering flexible work schedules with flex hours, remote work, a compressed work week, having parental and caregiver support, maybe paid leave and childcare. For new moms, having that lactation support, lactation rooms or storage in the fridge, and maybe time to pump. And the last one, I love it, it's peer groups. So that could be either for menopausal or even period health, having a safe space where women can connect and talk to and have that conversation so they know that they're not alone going in whatever they're going through. Next, women's health needs are unique and workplaces can play a powerful role in supporting them. So maybe offering on-site or sponsored screenings to catch issues early, having education events like hosting talks on menopause, fertility, brain and hormone health, and also providing access to women's focused care like maybe pelvic floor therapy or menstrual health resources as well. And a truly inclusive workplace recognizes and supports the full spectrum of women's health, and we see it in menstrual equity. So maybe this looks like providing free period products at work, which is great. I've been seeing these a lot in organizations and workplaces, or maybe having paid leave for severe symptoms for menstruation and normalizing that menstruation is a valid health experience and not just something that that they need to work through during their workday. Validating that menstruation is something that we're all going through. Another thing that can be done is awareness campaigns, and this maybe looks like promoting menopause, fertility, and mental health to break the stigma and support in women's health. When we remove that stigma, we create that safe space for healthier and more engaged employees. And support doesn't stop at offering benefits, and this is where the benefits and wellness have a crossover. It's about making sure women can access and use them with confidence. One suggestion can be hosting a benefits education session to help women understand and realize what they're covered so that they could actually maximize their health coverage. Another thing can be offering tailored resources like mental health care, fertility, hormone therapy, and menopause benefits, and also maybe lactation consultants. So when you create a culture that prioritizes women's health, you're sending a clear message that their well-being is just as valuable as their work. And that's the kind of culture that drives retention, productivity, and a healthier workforce overall. So now let's get back to men. We've looked at some of the challenges men face when it comes to their health at work, but the question becomes, what can organizations do to change this? So one thing, again, it's kind of similar to what we said in the women's health, maybe having health clinics, so providing on-site screenings for common health issues or promoting self-screening campaigns. Health literacy is a big one, to offer workshops and resources to raise awareness on men's health topics like heart disease and maybe mental health. You could also make therapy more accessible by covering it in benefits and offering virtual or on-site counseling. This is a great way to maybe partner with your EAP to see what's available so that your employees are aware of what's available in their EAP in regards to therapy as well. And again, similar to women's having a flex work schedule, maybe providing time off for health appointments or mental health days as well. Next, we have the support networks. This could be peer mentorship, so maybe pairing men with peers to discuss health, stress, and work life, maybe having a mental health ally, so training managers on mental health and maybe key employees so that they could recognize struggles and connect with colleagues to support, and having talk groups as well. So with support networks, I feel like it's similar to the menopause and period support networks for women. It's just having that one-on-one connection to know that these individuals are not alone and that they have someone to lean on and talk to as well. The last suggestion, again, we have speaker series. So hosting talks on men's health topics with male experts, maybe having group workouts, challenges, or mindfulness sessions is a great way for engagement as well. As you can see that workplaces have the power to change the narrative for men. So by expanding health screenings, maybe offering flexible work options, providing mental health support, building peer mentorship networks, companies can directly impact men's health outcomes and workplace performance. And the ripple effect is huge. When men feel supported in managing their health, we see fewer absences, reduced burnout, and higher productivity and stronger team dynamics. So with all this being said, now I'd like to discuss our next focus area, which we talked about in June, talking about men's and women's health. So we're going to start off with women's health with Dr. Ashlyn on Tuesday, June 3rd, followed by men's health, June 10th with Dr. JJ. Both events are at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's free virtual. Registration is now live and open on our site, so feel free to register you and your team. We're very excited about it. It's just another way that you can support your employees in regards to men's and women's health. And then for the next bit, I'd like to do a little playbook demo. So I'm going to stop share screening for now for a bit. Okay, and again, you could use this time if you'd like to get up and move a little bit, since again we've been sitting and we're going to sit for another maybe half or 45 minutes. Okay. So our playbook, each focus area, we provide a playbook for our clients. And the playbooks, like I said before, it includes an abundant amount of information with resources, tools, guides, activities, challenges to help you host a month-long focus area when we have our focus areas. And here we have one for women's. We do have one for men's, but for the interest of time, we'll just be showing a women's. And it starts off with all of our resources. Again, you see activities, articles, books, podcasts, videos, apps, etc. So it's all here for you. It is 18 pages. I know it's a lot and overwhelming, but I vetted them. I went through each of these resources and they're amazing. Let's go through activities. So activities are challenges and they're very fun and engaging. And you could do them for the whole course of the month of June. If you want to do it for 2 weeks, that's also fine, or 1 week, it's also entirely up to you. But these are just a fun way to engage and have that discussion with your employees in regards to that focus area. So everything's here for you, the instructions, and you just follow along with it. Again, we have that menopause and period support circle that I mentioned before. And you could also do something fun, like maybe a cooking class or a demo as well. Here we see the articles. These are not a 22-page report. These are very simple and easy reads that you could distribute to your employees. However, if somebody likes to read, we have books as well for recommendations. We have also podcasts for anybody who likes to listen on their way to work, when they're cooking or at the gym. Again, the link is there for you and easy to distribute. And we also have videos for the visual learner as well, and then apps that you could also share. So I know I'm flying by this rather quickly, but if you do want time set aside for me to go through this with you, more than welcome to book some time to chat. And here we have other programs, policies, and support that were not mentioned in activity, that were not in the activities or challenges, but some of them were actually mentioned in the few slides back. So again, it's all there for you so that you could use. And then we have our last bit of the playbook is always recommendations, because we know that it's hard to know when to start. It's hard to know what to do. So we've created 3 templates that you could follow along depending on your wellness readiness. So we have in level 1, level 2, level 3. You could choose your journey in a sense, and each week is laid out for you to do, and along with the links. Yeah, so we have the easy, medium, and the last one is the Trailblazer level 3, which has a lot of information and resources, but also fun to do. And the last bit is just some questions for a team discussion, because here at Thorpe Benefits, we love a good debrief, we love discussions. So we do encourage our clients to also have a debrief or discussion with their employees after either the kickoff event, maybe after sharing a resource, or after a challenge or activity. It's just great to check in to see, what your employees got out of anything, to see where they're at, to see if they're struggling with something, to see if they had a success or a win. We think debriefs are just a great way to have that conversation and have that ongoing support as well. So yeah, so that is our playbook, and that in a rundown, in a little nutshell, that's up next for our focus area in June, and we really hope to see you guys there. As I mentioned, registration is now live and open on our website for both of the events, so feel free to register for your team, your employees. And again, if you'd like a copy of the playbook of both the men's and women's, I'm available to chat. You could book some time with me or shoot me an email. My email is bianca@thorpebenefits.com. I think someone might put it in the chat.
We did.
But yeah, okay, perfect. But other than that, thank you all for listening, and I hope to see you guys in June.
Thanks, Bianca. Just before we tie that up, there was a question in the chat, which was just asking, yes, the copy of that slide deck is available, and the playbook is available too. If you want to reach out to Bianca,
Yeah.
she can definitely share that and walk you through it. It's overwhelming in its own right.
Yeah.
She can really coach you on how to just make it more manageable for what you're able to handle.
Mhm.
And there was a question quickly about how to access mental health therapy where maybe an EAP doesn't exist. What we're finding is there's a lot more creative services out there now that are not necessarily traditional EAPs. So giving people more direct virtual access to therapy in either a limited basis or that continues on for someone independently that they can and then be reimbursed through their paramedical benefits and therapy limits. So we're happy to talk to people about how to sort of add in those layers and resources. Thank you so much, Bianca. That's awesome. I'm sure people are excited to see how they can jump on that focus area coming up. And we're now much more comfortable and aware of the fact that these two health issues are something we have to deal with and discuss openly.
Yes.